Hey guys, welcome back to another Creative Tap tutorial. Now in this tutorial we're going to be creating this kind of loading bar, which is a little bit reminiscent of the Windows XP loading bar. Okay, so it's quite a simple one to do. We've got a looped animation here with an expression, we've got an alpha mat going on here, and a sort of little background kind of bar. Anyway, let's dive on in and let's create this. So I'm going to go File, New Project, and let's go Composition, New Composition. I'm just going to keep it, I'll just call it loading bar then, actually. 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second is what I'm using, and 5 seconds duration will be grand. So click OK. Now what we want to do is get the, first of all, the rounded rectangle tool. And I want no fill, so if you've got a fill, just click the word and select none, OK. And my stroke, I want to be sort of a little sort of grayish like that, I think, or maybe a light grey. There we go. And I think 68 is going to be too much. I'm going to set it to 50, but we can always bring it down later. And I'm going to click and drag out. Yeah, 50 is definitely too much. So it's gone back to 68. So let's go to 30. I think even 30 is too much. Let's go to 15. Let's try 20. I think 15 actually. Okay, yeah, go with 15. Hit enter. Now I want to actually round the corners a little bit more. So if we come down into the rectangle drop down, come into the path and take the roundness. I'm going to take mine up to about, I'm going to take it up to 50. I think that's pretty decent. Maybe 40? Yeah, 40 is good. Hit enter. So we've got that kind of shape in there now. Now I'm going to align this to the center. So if you want to do this, come to align. If you can't see it, just go window, make sure it's ticked. And I'm going to go horizontal center and vertical center alignment. I'm also going to make sure this anchor point's at the middle by control or command double clicking this center point, this anchor point tool. Okay, and I'll go back to my selection tool. So that's now dead in the center, which is great. So I'm going to close this down, right click, rename, outline bar, there you go, and I'm going to lock this. Okay, what I want to do on a new shape layer, I want to get my pen tool and I'm going to draw a line about yay big, just like that, and I'm going to click off. Okay, so we've just got a stroke on there at the moment. Now what I want to do is I want to make this stroke a lot thicker, like so. I'm going to go just default it at 100 for now, and I'm going to move it in so it fits down here in our little bar. So let's just get the position, probably easier, like so, and just move it so it fits in like that, so we can see how wide we want it. I think that'll be good. I'm going to control or command double click my anchor point tool just to make sure that's in the center, like so, and yeah, there it is. So we've got this loading bar now. Now if we click drop down, we're going to go to add, and I'm going to go no, not in add, sorry, we're going to go into contents, shape 1, and we go to the stroke, and we're going to add a dashes. Okay, so just click that add, and it's going to turn it all into dashes. Now some of them used to have like really thin dashes like this, but I'm going to go for thicker ones. So come in and turn this up so we've just got 3, and I'm also going to click add again because we'll have this little gap where we can say how big the gap is, and I want them quite close together, so you can play around with that, and I think I'll keep mine to about 10. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to make my dashes a little bit wider, like so. So we've got 3 like that. And yeah, I think that's what I want. So I'm going to change the color of the stroke to a sort of green, about that color. Click OK. And now we're ready to start kind of making it look a bit nicer. So what I want to do is close this down, have the layer selected, go to Layer, Layer Styles, Bevel and Emboss. Okay, so zoom in a little bit, come down into the settings, give the size a little bit more, like so, and I want to soften this as well. Okay, just like that. Now for the highlight color, I'm going to come in and I'm going to choose a very, very bright yellow, not yellow, green, like that. And for the shadow opacity, I'm going to turn this down to about 40. Like so, so it's not that much. You can still see as an emboss there. It's got a little bit of depth. So I'm going to bring this down now. You can carry on, you can add a glow if you want to, or do whatever, but I actually like the look as it is. So what we want to do is we want to hit we want to first of all rename it. So loading bars. We want to hit P, set a keyframe for the position, come forward about 30 frames, I think. So shift and page down 3 times to jump forward in sets of 3. And I'm going to drag this position parameter so it comes all the way out to here. And I'm actually going to come back and I'm going to drag this initial keyframe, the value of it, so it's all the way out. So this is what we'll be left with. And I think, yeah, that's too fast. So I'm going to drag it to the 2-second mark, I think. So drag that out. And I think that's going to be fast enough now. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, great. So at the moment, we've got 2 issues. It doesn't repeat, and it goes outside the bar, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this, or just click off, and I'm going to get the rectangle tool, okay, on a new shape layer, and I'm just going to draw in here a rectangle where I actually want this to appear, okay. So I'm going to take the stroke all the way down to 0, and I'm just going to give it just a fill so we can see where it is of that. Okay, so it's only going to appear where we see this blue. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this loading bar, click toggle switches, and I'm going to say alpha matte shape layer. Well, let's rename shape layer 1. So alpha for loading bar. And what it's going to do is it's going to look at this layer. Right, where's this layer visible? That's only where we're going to show this. So link alpha matte for alpha loading bar. So it's only going to show up where that shape was visible. Okay, like so. That's good. So if we play that, obviously it loads and goes across, but it doesn't repeat. So that's the last thing we want to do. We want to alt click the position by here, and we want to type loop out with a capital O on the word out, then open and close parentheses or brackets, whatever you call them, and it's going to then loop. So if once it gets to this keyframe on this actual parameter, it's just going to loop these keyframes. Okay, so if we play through, now it's going to loop constantly like that. Okay, so that's basically it. It's not very long one, but it's using a few different techniques, and that's how we create that loading bar. So that'll loop as long as your composition is now. Cheers for tuning in. Check out our other UI tutorials, our other After Effects, Photoshop and Nuke tutorials. Give a comment, like and subscribe, that'll be helpful. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to see when our next tutorials are coming. And yeah, cheers for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you in another tutorial.